Welcome to McQueen's Body Shop, where we give you safe and effective workouts that you can do anywhere. This is one of my very, very favorite mobility and stretch sessions because we are dealing with the hips. You are gonna need a ball. I use a baseball. If you've got a tennis ball, that works also. You can also use a foam roller for this. Just know it's not gonna be quite as intense because using something small like this really gets in specific and localized to the muscle. So ball, if you've got it, is preferred. And then a band or strap or towel. And what we're gonna start with is, I get complaints so much, particularly with the the demographic that we work with women in their reproductive years, of tight hips. And so completely normal, but let's try to find a little bit more space, shall we? We're gonna start like we do with a lot of our stretch and mobility sessions, with a little assessment to see how we're feeling. And this is gonna be a 90-90. If any of you are physical therapists or have done physical therapy, you will know exactly what I mean when I say 90-90. If you don't, I'm gonna teach you. So we're basically just making a series of 90-degree angles with our legs. So 90 degrees from at our knee. So our knee comes straight out from our hip in front, and then our heel is lined up with the knee. And then the same with the back. So the back, you're gonna have your knee come straight out from the hip, and then the heel, see, I usually kind of tuck this leg in. Heel is lined up with the knee. And you're sitting kind of up on your hips. What does this feel like? Okay, so you can do a little lean forward. How does that feel? A little bit of a lean towards this back knee. How does that feel? Just take quick note, okay? We're not gonna overthink this though, like I personally do with so many things. You're gonna switch to the other side. So if you just roll over, you'll be where you need to be, but kind of get realigned again. So mostly for me, like I said, I usually tuck this back heel in. So making sure the heel's lined up with the knee comes straight out from the hip. Again, 90 degrees with these angles, and just see, okay, tight as always, how it feels to reach for this back knee, very tight. Okay. Again, we're not judging, it's just a little bit of knowledge here. We're gonna do a kneeling hip flexor stretch to start. And I would recommend giving your mat a fold or two for it. And we're gonna come up and we're gonna hold this stretch for a little bit. So I want you to really just get into it and release, all right? So you're gonna bring one knee up, or one foot up rather. Well, it's the knee also. Tuck the tailbone, so tuck first, and then you can do a little bit of a lean forward. I'm gonna start our time, I believe. Give me a second. So I really want you to think again, like I said, about tucking the tailbone first and holding from there. It's like you're trying to take a string. Don't worry, I've started my time, by the way. It's like you're trying to take a string and pull that string forward. And so you're pushing that forward first, and then a little bit of a lean forward. And let's just enjoy this, shall we? Most of you know that I have a lot of trouble with this kind of settling in, calm, but it is so important. It is so good for you. This whole session is really, really great if you're in your luteal phase, but do this anytime. I mean, tack this onto the end of one of our follicular phase workouts. That's great. Tack it on to the end of a run. Okay, runners, hips, stretching, super important. Keep breathing. So I've said in past videos, with stretching, it takes us a while to get in a tight position, like many years. So it's gonna take a little bit of time and patience to let go and find some space. I'm saying this more for me than I am for you. Good, keep holding. You've got about 10 seconds. So we're doing a nice 2-minute stretch per side. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, slowly come out of that. Yikes. All right, other side. Again, tucking the tailbone, pulling that hip flexor forward, starting our time here, and then that lean forward. And settling on in for a good time. So did you lose the tuck? Keep tucking. Keep breathing. Sometimes I even put my hand right on the small of my back, or really on my tailbone, and just remember, just keep reminding it. Keep pushing down. So a lot of these stretches that we're doing today are going to be some nice, longly held. Long held? We're going to hold them for a long time, relatively. Now again, see, did you get a little bit of release? Are you able to sink a little bit deeper? We're not forcing anything here, okay? These are just, everything I'm saying are just little options, little questions for you to ponder. Good, keep sinking a little bit. Try to relax the upper body. Now, if you're feeling tightness in that hip flexor, which I'm assuming you are, because that's where we're stretching right now, direct that exhale into that hip flexor. So inhale through the nose. As soon as that inhale, as soon as that fresh oxygen comes in, push it out of the hip flexor. Good, yes, we're holding longer. Keep holding. We get to lie on our backs in a second, so don't you fret. 20 seconds here. I know 2 minutes is a dang long time, huh? But look, at least it's not 2 minutes of burpees. Although I might prefer that, to be perfectly honest with you. Keep tucking. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, slowly come up from that. So you're gonna need your band. The band is actually optional for this next one. We're gonna do a lying down figure 4 assisted with the band. But again, like I said, you don't have to have it. I'm just gonna make sure my ball doesn't go rolling away. So rolling onto your side, remember we're trying to avoid putting intra-abdominal pressure on ourselves. So log roll on our side and then onto our back. You're gonna cross the ankle over the knee. Now maybe this is enough for you. Gentle press out of the knee. Maybe you want a bit more and you're gonna reach through, all right? If you want even more, you bring this, you actually don't even need this other knee coming in. You put the band around your foot and you just start pulling it in, okay? And the other leg just does whatever it wants to do. So I'm starting our time here. You're flexing into this foot. And again, giving a little pull. There's just something a little bit different about this than when we just do here. Or you could do a double, where you're using the band, pulling this leg in, and then giving a little more assistance with this other leg. And breathe. So this kind of gets into outer hip more, medial glutes, glute max, up into the piriformis a little bit. Direct your breath there. So again, inhale, push that air out through your glutes. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. My kids aren't here. You guys, I have just like such a like silly, like my like little silly dirty jokes. It's like something my 8-year-old would think. Okay, again, inhale. Exhale. Pushed up through the hips. How does that sound? Is that better? Not out through your butt. Okay. Keep holding. We got about 30 seconds. Again, this leg really doesn't have to do anything. It can just kind of relax. You can straighten it. You will also get a little stretch through that hip flexor. And a little more of a hold, I know. Settle on in. Ground into the ground. We've got just another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and slowly switch to the other side. I'm going to start our timer right now. So again, you're welcome to just stay right here. If you're like, all right, I'm feeling that, that feels great. You can not use the band and pull that leg in, or using the band, pulling that leg in, maybe giving an extra little bit of assistance from this leg that's down. Maybe a gentle little press out of the knee. And relax. Lay your head down. There's no reason to lift it. So if you're using the band, it's kind of easy to get all crunched up in your shoulders. So really just focus on relaxing, pulling those shoulders down. Keep holding. We're gonna stay on our backs for the next exercise, which will not be as long, not exercise, stretch, will not be as long as these 2 minutes. We have less than a minute here. This is a good time to focus on your breath. You could try for even inhale, even exhale. You could do twice as long on the exhale as the inhale. So in for 2, out for 4. Let's try that again. In for 2, out for 4. And 15 more seconds. Breathe however you would like. 10. And 3, 2, 1. Release. We are done with the band. You're gonna hug one knee into your chest. Give it a really big hug in. Straighten that other leg out. We're holding here for 1 minute. So I told you we were done with our 2 minutes. I want you to feel some strength and power in this leg that's straight on the ground. So flexing both feet. Push those heels out away from you. Keep hugging that knee in and keep breathing. Good, keep holding. So we're getting a little bit of flexion in the front of the hip of the knee that we're hugging in, and then some extension in the front of the hip of the other leg. So we got like a little concentric contraction and an eccentric going on. 15 seconds. And then we have the second side. And go ahead and slowly switch. Other side. Time starts now. Again, hug it in. Press that other heel. Well, really both heels. Both heels really active in the feet. Big inhale. Big exhale. A few more like that. Big inhale. Big exhale. So you're getting a little 2 for 1 here. Some mobility and stretch, and then a little bit of breathing work, meditation. It's all super important for your recovery, which is something we should not skip. We've got 20 seconds. It's hard to do in this world where we're so go, go, go. What's the next thing? Trust me, of all people, I know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, are you guys ready for this? It's gonna be really exciting. Roll to one side, come up. Grab your ball, okay? Now, we're gonna get real up close and personal with the ground. This ball, we're gonna roll our hip flexor, okay? Which is, again, right here, fronts of those hips. You can do this with a foam roller instead. And so, I'm sorry, it's gonna look like I'm humping the ground, but you're just gonna have to trust me on this one, all right? So you're gonna bring, it's above your quad muscle. Oh, I already feel something. So you can either roll around a little bit, but be careful, okay? And again, you're coming to like the top of your quad and below your hip point. So that little sort of indentation section, We're gonna roll on one side for some time, nothing too long, don't worry. So if you find a spot where you're like, oh, okay, you're just gonna kind of settle into that. You can put your head on the ground, whatever you wanna do. You can come side to side. And again, it's sort of a funky kind of place to look for and to put a ball in. But if you do this a few times, you're gonna find it. Like I found it really quick just now. But if this is your first time doing some kind of self-massage mobility work with a ball, it might be like, am I at the right place? Am I not? I don't know. But like I said, above the quad muscle, which is this big thigh muscle, right above there and right below the hip point. So we're just on one side. We only have about 10 seconds. If you feel it radiating up here into your obliques, that's a good spot. Okay, you're in the right spot. 2 and 1, switch to the other side. So again, find the spot and then just sit on it. Or roll around. It's like, I don't know, somewhat kind of the worm-ish. Ooh. All right. Keep breathing into that spot. The next one I think you might like a little bit better. This one is never, I had a wonderful physical therapist who used to really hurt me because she would, my hip flexors were so tight. And so she would really get into them. And it almost feels like that, like a sour feeling. You know, like if you have a cavity and you like chew on like metal and you're like, like a zing, it's kind of like that. So we're gonna hold 3, 2, 1. So it's not really the most pleasant thing, but now we're gonna go to a much more pleasant area, which is our glutes. Now, you're gonna take the ball. We're gonna do this 90 seconds total on both sides. So I'll tell you at about 45 when you can switch through. You're gonna come up onto the ball. I think sitting is probably better. And we're just going all around. I'm gonna start our timer on to our glute max, which is a gigantic muscle back there. As well as you can kind of come to the side and get the medial glutes, which is the sides of the hip. And as you're doing this, so again, a foam roller is totally acceptable to use. You're just not gonna get quite the like, ooh, there it is, you know, kind of a feeling. It'll be a little more subtle, but if you need that, then go for it. So again, find a spot. And again, if you find a spot where you're like, okay, just stop for a second, settle in. It doesn't have to be this big like foam rolling craziness, like, ah, you know, just like chill out a little bit. And now go to the other side, please. I know, if you want to stay on this a lot longer, you can hit pause and do longer. We're doing 90 seconds total on both glutes. And so if you want a little bit more, I understand. So you are welcome to do so. We have one more exercise after, one more stretch, I'm sorry. Don't want to scare anybody away. I'm not gonna start making you do mountain climbers right now. But one more stretch, and then our little reassess. How much time do we have? About 10 seconds. I know, I could be here a lot longer too. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Eek, I think I found something right at the end there. Okay, ditch the ball, come onto all fours, please. So hands are directly beneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Here's what I'm gonna have you do. Bring your right hand further in front and your right knee further back, okay? So the left hand and left knee are where they quote unquote should be, all right? And the right hand is in the front and the right is in the back. And you're just gonna go front and back, and it's gonna feel really weird. Just go with it. Good, this is a coupling exercise for our hips. I mean stretch. Again, front and back. See if you can increase the range And it's not like my hand isn't super far in front of my other hand. It's kind of like the heel of this right hand is lined up with my left middle finger. And same with the knee, it's not too far back. Let's go 3, 2, 1. All right, come back to center. Left hand comes in front, left knee back. So same hand, same knee. And then again, you're kind of coming to like a child's pose and then coming in front. And it feels very uncomfortable and just kind of strange. But just trust me. Again, maybe just make these movements a little bit bigger. Getting tapped in the head by my plant. Keep going. 3, 2, and 1. Square yourself back up, and then go ahead and sit on your bottom. Let's take it to our reassessment. So come into that 90-90 again. All right, one knee right out in front, heel lined up with knee, heel lined up with knee, and see if you have not given yourself a little bit more space here. I feel like I can fold over a little bit more. I feel like coming over this back knee is not quite so strange feeling. There's still a lot of tightness, but it feels a little bit different. All right, switch to the other side. Let's assess this side as well. And if you're like, okay, yeah, I didn't really, I'm thinking that you will have felt a pretty big difference with what we just did. But if not, then stick a little bit longer with the ball on your glutes. And then again, just to make sure that you see this way as well. And incorporate this once a week, this video once a week into your stretching practice. And I think that you will see a really big difference over time. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you back at McQueen's Body Shop another time.